I had my gun out about like this when I announced the stick-up, and I noticed at that time there were three men standing to my right, and the guy in the center I realized was a policeman, and he just charged me. He ducked his head down and came through the guy to his left, and at the same time was pulling his gun out. At any rate, when I had my gun about like so, he hit me and we both went up against the wall, and the gun discharged when we hit the wall, and he was shot somewhere in the top of the center of his head, and the bullet exited somewhere to the top right of his head.
And when he hit me, I backed off of him. And at that time, he went for his gun and I went for mine. And I just outshot him. And as I backed away, I also shot his partner.
I would say he was 15 to 20 feet directly in front of several officers. I think the exact number was 6 officers who were shooting over his shoulders.
My hand instinctively went up, and the shot went off, and he was hit in the head. At that time, he went down, and I continued running.
The police officers, they just come through the door, not knowing where the criminal or the alleged armed robber is located.
I don't think he was prepared. I don't think he really wanted to shoot me, or otherwise he probably would have from the beginning.
Police officer's job is just not for everyone. Some people become a police officer because they can't find any other job. I would say that a great percentage of the police officers are not prepared mentally for the job.
Well, most police officers are not conditioned because they're overweight, they drink a lot of booze, they drink a lot of beer, they stay up at night, and they don't sleep very well. But a person that's well conditioned, his eyes are clear, his hand is steady, his aim is good. I never really had very much practice with a pistol. I think that anyone can point a revolver and shoot it at a subject and hit it.
Just put it in my hand and pull the trigger, bang, bang. And that was it. Actually, they were just really instinctive moves.
So it would stand to reason that if a guy practiced, he'd have to be pretty good.
When I went off into the life of crime, well, I knew that the most successful criminal would be that one who had the most experience in handling a gun. With a moderate-sized target, moving at a moderate pace, at a distance of 25 to 30 feet, I believe I would hit that target 8 out of 10 times every time. I don't think my vocabulary contained the word to describe, the lousiness of the way police use their handguns.
One thought, and I only wish that the police officer in my situation had been better prepared for what happened. And I guess basically it's that simple. If he had known what to do, he wouldn't have been killed.
Okay, on TV and in movies, they portray the law enforcement officer as being the best shot in the West, where he can drop anybody at 200 or 300 yards with a revolver, that his gun never empties, and that you don't have to worry about reloading at critical times.
I was under the impression that nothing would ever happen to me. It doesn't always work that way. Too many times the officer is not mentally or physically prepared.
Don't think that blue uniform is going to stop bullets.
Well, in my case, I got shot in the thigh, and at the time I didn't feel it was a serious wound. But I understand had I not been close to a hospital, I would have died within 4 minutes.
Also recall a puff of smoke coming from the weapon, at which time I felt that I had been hit in the area of the neck.
The weapon came up from his side and immediately discharged, and I was struck right here below where the pins are in my pocket. When I was struck, it felt like I was hit in the chest with a closed fist, and then someone ran a hot poker through an imaginary hole.
And I broke the golden rule of a policeman in that I did not see his hands.
The point came in my mind that I had to shoot at the person. I did it as an instinct.
But firing at an individual who's returning fire is just an unbelievable experience.
And I'll be willing to guarantee you that it won't happen again for the simple reason that I will be better prepared than a normal creep on the street.
I don't know what one piece of advice I could give you. I don't know. Keep your head about you. Don't panic.
Remember to do something immediately.
You have a chance for preparation. You have a chance to get away from paranoia and go into your individual efforts. Preparation is the name of the game, not paranoia.
The point is that in an actual shooting situation, you must know exactly how you're going to react. That process began with learning proper grip, sight alignment, and trigger squeeze. But once you've mastered these basics, remember that on the street, you're going to face a target who's alive and returning fire. In an average confrontation, you'll fire less than 3 shots. Things will happen fast. The average shooting incident is over in 2.5 seconds. Less time than it takes you to exit your patrol car. Civilians will probably be near your field of fire and slow to react to what's happening. Most shootings occur at distances of 4 to 12 feet, less than half the length of your patrol car. Most officers who die fail to shoot from behind available cover. "40% of officer shootings involve more than one gunman." When was the last time you practiced shooting at multiple targets? Two out of every 3 shootings occurred during hours of darkness or in reduced light. When was the last time you fired under night conditions, or in the rain, high winds, or in extreme heat or cold? In a shootout, the odds are you're so excited you may not know how many rounds you fired. You'll be under an incredible amount of stress and will automatically revert back to whatever techniques have become second nature.
Load your weapons with 6 rounds.
Keep in mind, slain officers have been found with spent rounds in their pockets because that's what they practiced.
Is the line ready? Ready on the right, ready on the left, ready on the firing line. Commence fire.
How good are your survival shooting techniques?
Hey, guy, hey, come on out here. Come on out here. Come
Okay,
here.
Leon, where you live at?
Among the 4 million people who carry concealed handguns are a lot of criminals.
A weapon on him. Is there any more weapons in this car? You mind if we look through the car? Not at all.
On duty, you're a highly visible authority symbol,
What is all this?
and there are those who will try to take advantage of that fact.
Put your hands behind your head. Hey, you're under arrest for investigation of burglary. Who told you?
Many will be seasoned criminals, or psychos, or someone who's thought up his own survival plan should he get caught. Unlike you, he's probably less concerned about his emotions. He may have killed before. He may have had prior military or self-defense training. He may have practiced disarming techniques and other police tactics in prison. He's not worried about shooting review boards, violating department policy, or justifying his actions in a report. Unlike you, he expects to get shot if he takes you on. To him, it's just a matter of when. Their weapons are most often like those of most police, or smaller caliber. Some will be armed with a loaded shotgun. A few will use more exotic or homemade guns. Criminals who kill officers usually fire double action, often choose the time and know when the shooting will occur, and are often only an eye blink away from getting on target first. Yet the overwhelming majority of officers who die in gunfights most probably could have survived if they had only practiced a plan, followed survival shooting procedures, and anticipated danger. The first step in minimizing your risk is to think about your approach to any scene. You want to develop a habit of doing the unexpected. So on the chance someone at the scene may shoot, you'd park several houses away and approach on foot. You'll want to take your time and use all your senses to confirm the situation before you take action.
1 foot on this front porch, he's I'm telling you now. Do you hear me? You get your goddamn gun, I'll get my gun. Sheriff's office.
The rule remains, don't prejudge your call. Unfortunately, this officer approached a shots fired call by parking out front without using cover. The complainant thought he would pull up front. He did, and this was the result.
Unit 116, traffic stop, 3600 block of Bandini, California, Nora, Charles, X-ray, 263. Request DOJ and NCIC check.
Unit 116-10-4, be advised, DOJ and NCIC terminals are down for 10 to 15.
Your approach to a suspicious pullover situation requires similar caution and planning. Cranking your steering wheel to the left can provide some protection from low rounds or ricocheting bullets.
Driver, shut off your engine and throw your keys out the window.
How about the driver's door? Is it ajar? If so, ask yourself, why? Is there a trunk lock? If so, is the trunk lid closed? Armed suspects have been known to secrete themselves inside a trunk, ready for a routine pullover and approach. It's also important to check the back seat thoroughly for other suspects or guns.
May I see your driver's license, sir?
You stand where it's hardest for the driver to shoot back at you.
All right, get a bag. Fill it up with money now. Hurry up.
As you make your approach in a silent alarm, being aware of your surroundings may prevent a shooting or hostage situation.
119 and 125, just for info, I can't see inside the business. However, this side's clear at this time.
Just because you can't see a suspect doesn't mean he can't see you. Therefore, you establish and maintain invisible deployment and notify your backup of any suspect movement. Because when he comes out, he'll probably be armed. And you want the element of surprise working to your advantage, not his.
Police officer, don't move. Slowly
Whether his
contact him.
reaction is this
Don't move.
or this.
What room is it?
Room 310, around to the left.
Okay, and it's just around here, right?
Yes.
It's important to remember that informants on a shots fired call may provide inaccurate information, or the suspect may have changed locations. As a result, you and your backup never pass a doorway without checking it first, because you don't want the suspect coming out behind you. The technique you want to employ is one which provides constant fire cover while your backup moves into position. Should an armed suspect suddenly appear, you now have target acquisition. As you approach, you want to check the hallway for backlighting, recesses and obstructions where you could take cover if you had to. You also want to notice which way the doors open as you adjust your eyes to the light level. As you check each doorway from a kneeling position, below your backup's line of fire, he again assumes a standing cover position. Now the suspect is also seeking target acquisition through sight and sounds. Part of his plan may also be an assumption that your gun is holstered and your guard is down. As you approach the objective, taking a fire cover position, your partner moves behind you, taking a position just short of the doorway. When possible, your approach also includes controlling light to avoid becoming a silhouette. Your position must be outside and below the kill zone. Otherwise, you have to scan the entire room to locate the suspect because you're standing in the fatal funnel, the only area the suspect has for directing his vision and firepower. Regardless of his position, his visual is on you at all times. With the door now flanked on both sides, and without exposing any vital portion of your body, open the door until it hits against the back wall. This might flush him out of one commonly used hiding place. Before you enter, you want a visual on the open room from both sides of the doorway. By rolling your flashlight into the general area,
Police, don't move.
a quick search can be made safely.
Hands up. Get them up. Keep them right there. Don't move.
That's right.
144 assist. 144 in the area.
Field interrogations at night provide circumstances when your lights can keep you from becoming a target.
Wait a minute, Pat. We've got some guys in the alleyway back. Hold on. 144 rolls back. We have some possible subjects in the alleyway off of Fairmont, west of 7th Street.
Of course, you and your partner do the unexpected. In staying back behind the curtain of light, you quietly flank out to a position away from your unit.
Step away from that wall. Don't move.
From the suspect's position, you become invisible. If they did choose to fire, they'd probably fire at the driver's side. You're making it harder for them to kill you because they can't see you. All along, you watch their hands. If there's a concealed gun, the hands will be the key, not the eyes.
Step away from the wall. Okay, clown, get away from that wall. I said stand up. Stand up and step away from that wall. Put your hands on your head. Put your hands on your head. I said put your hands on your head. Don't move.
Please, don't move!
In other cases, a verbal challenge may work.
Don't move, mister!
It's usually hard for a suspect to talk and shoot at the same time.
You haven't killed anybody yet. You drop your first. Drop your gun.
You also want to challenge him verbally before he challenges you. As you use a verbal command, movement to a position of cover can buy you more time to assess what his ultimate action will be.
3 steps to your left.
In any case, you want to keep the suspect's hands in plain view at all times.
Unit 143.
Patrol 143, go.
Traffic stop, locus north of 1st.
Suspects who will use a gun against you depend on your being inattentive, careless, or distracted.
143, stand by. 143, -1, need a vehicle.
If you're alert and in good physical condition, you can minimize lag time, the amount of time it takes you to see, identify, and react to danger.
Hello, would you turn your engine off, please?
Did I do something wrong?
Yes, you're speeding back here on Locust. Would you turn the engine off?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Could I see your driver's license?
Sure.
Don't move! Don't move! Put the gun down!
If you can't get your citation book in front of the barrel, throw it into the subject's eyes to pull her off target. Any item already in your non-gun hand can be used as a distractor. This officer's doubled citation book stopped a .38 round at a distance of 36 inches. In this case, an officer believed that what he held in his non-gun hand could maintain the advantage. The point is, once the eyeball is threatened, the suspect's body alarm reaction forces an uncontrollable response and allows you time to quickly exit the kill zone.
Police officer, hold it. I want to talk to you. Hold it, I said. Hold it. Take your hand out of your pocket, slowly.
The best way you can eliminate lag time is to develop a plan and practice it, so your reactions to danger become second nature. However, some situations won't allow you to use a good approach and verbal challenges. They'll require you to take immediate action by exiting the kill zone and notifying communications. But once the shooting starts, unanticipated movement is effective because it makes you a harder target to hit. If you're in your vehicle, get down low in your seat, look through the steering wheel, and immediately exit the kill zone to a position of cover. Other situations may force you to use movement inside the kill zone. The first tactic is to drive perpendicular to the line of fire. After exiting your vehicle, your response will be to move and shoot simultaneously. With a shotgun, you rack in a new round on your back and fire as you roll, each time you maintain target acquisition. For the suspect who is not expecting movement, your shots coming low and fast will delay his reaction time and make his return fire less effective as you take cover. Where you sense a shooting situation and have time to react, you want to return fire from behind cover, anything that will stop bullets or at least slow them down. You'll choose a position which allows you to blend with the shape of your cover, maintain fire superiority and mobility. In some cases, the best cover may be standing behind a tree or utility pole, rather than a squatting position which will make you a visible target. If you expect to move to better cover, the kneeling position may work, but only if it offers concealment too. Here the body is lowered by sitting back on the ankle and leg with the shooting hand supported. The recommended position for shooting behind a mailbox is with both legs spread behind each of the rear supports, with your barrel positioned slightly over the top. Other departments recommend a support position to the side, exposing no more of your head than necessary. Even proning out below a curb may become cover. When shooting behind cover, you want to use a position that offers concealment, comfort, and is easily applied under stress. For accuracy and control, use the two-handed support with the back of the weak hand resting against the barricade. Behind the barricade, your support hand should cup the bottom 3 fingers of your gun hand. It's also important to remember that your gun should never actually touch the barricade, or it will bounce as you shoot. In all these examples of shooting behind right-hand barricades, you now have the opportunity for safe return fire. Starting with a solid foot position, the two-handed position from a left-sided barricade should be executed with your gun in the weak hand. Practice with both strong and weak hand shooting will just give you better odds in this kind of situation. Remember that if you were to revert back to your right hand when shooting from the left side of the barricade, you would become a much easier target. Your vehicle may be the only source of cover in a shooting situation. The first position you'll take is one that shields your leg from low or ricocheting rounds by bracing your outside leg against the open door and door jamb.
Everybody put your hands on the roof.
Here your face and chest will be partially protected behind heavy metal.
Driver, put your hands where I can see them. Driver, put your hands up so I can see them.
If the incident lasts a long time, you're in a bench rest position for your weapon with a back brace support.
Unit 144, shots fired. One suspect down.
Unit 110, copy. We're arriving on scene, blacked out. Partner will take up a position to the right flank. We'll be positioning our vehicle to the left of yours.
10-4, be advised. One suspect still in the vehicle.
110, copy. Right here's good. Let me out.
Passenger, put your hands where I can see them.
Now that the backup vehicle is occupied by only one officer, the engine block is kept between himself and hostile weapons fire.
Passengers, step out of the vehicle. You in the back seat, put your hands up so I can see them. I said put your hands up where I can see them. I want to see your hands. Put your hands up and come out of the car slowly. Up your ass.
Knowing the penetration power of your weapon will sometimes allow you to penetrate what the suspect thinks is cover.
Control to Unit 116. Affirmative, watch your vehicle. Felony hit and run. Backup is en route.
In some instances, penetrating his cover can be combined with rapid movement out of the kill zone.
I see driver's license, sir.
You honky pig, I'll kill you!
Once outside your vehicle, you are usually better protected if you shoot from a kneeling position around the side, placing your hand on the bumper for balance with your legs behind the wheelbase. Even this prone position affords much better cover and control than shooting over the top or over the door, or shooting in any position where your torso is vulnerable. In every case, you want to remember what officers in this scene didn't apply. Have a plan, seek cover, and maintain target acquisition. But often a situation escalates before you have a chance to take cover. Here, survival depends on your ability to use instinct or point shooting techniques. The goal is to get off fast, accurate shots without taking the time to line up a sight picture. The reason is simple. It only takes 1/2 second for a suspect to fire a gun that's already aimed. Even the best take twice that long to draw, aim, and fire. In instinct shooting, you don't have to bring your gun up to eye level or take time to close one eye. In effect, your gun becomes an extension of your arms and fingers. Your primary vision should be your suspect, not your sights.
Hold it, please, hold it! Drop the gun! Drop the gun!
You're in a white shirt! Keep your head where you can see him and don't move! Don't step through!
As you bring your arms straight out, your wrists and elbows are locked and your torso is bent slightly forward. Your arms will then absorb the recoil and prevent you from pulling off target. With practice, your hands will instinctively follow your eyes, even if you drop to a lower position to shoot.
Get back.
Or if you use a close quarters position where the elbow is bent and your gun hand is drawn close to the upper hip. With multiple armed suspects, a swivel motion from the waist up allows you control of eye, gun, and shoulder movement. Remember to return fire at the one with the most dangerous weapon first, then return fire to the next most dangerous. In some cases, you may not be able to fire directly at your target to hit it. Ricochet shooting works against any flat, hard surface. If you maintain proper cover and fire at less than a 45-degree angle, the bullet will flatten out and travel between 1 and 8 inches off the surface. You want to apply instinct shooting technique from behind cover to avoid becoming a victim of the technique yourself.
Money's right there in the safe.
Instinct shooting also works under dim light conditions where you may not be able to see your fingers, let alone your sights.
Police, don't move!
Try to move after each time the suspect fires to a position of better cover. This will make it difficult for him to get on target and allow you time to adjust your night vision. A smart suspect will try to use your muzzle flash to his advantage. Fire directly at the muzzle flash or at least one round on each side of the muzzle flash. Again, your gun hand follows your eyes. If you can point toward your target, you can hit it. If you reload a revolver under fire, maintain cover while dumping the shell cases directly onto the ground. Regardless of whether you reload with a belt loop or dump pouch, you want to reload by feel, rotating the cylinder with the thumb and middle finger as you feed in each new round. If you can't fully reload before your position is assaulted, be sure a live round will rotate under the hammer. Utilizing a speed loader will allow you to get back on target the quickest because all 6 rounds can be released into the cylinder at the same time. If you're firing a semi-automatic, you will have more rounds available than with a revolver. However, you should still anticipate the possibility of having to reload under fire. At the appropriate time and from a position of cover, place a loaded magazine in your non-gun hand and insert it by feel. Speed load an empty shotgun, eject the last spent shell, leaving the ejection port open. Cup the shell in the curls of your fingers with the primer end supported by the little finger. Here, in review, reach under the receiver up to the open ejection port and rack in the first round. You also load your second round while maintaining target acquisition at all times. Spare rounds are loaded by feel, from underneath, into the magazine port.
He's got a gun.
He's got a gun, Ronnie! He's coming your way!
A suspect who is shot may not react the way you expect him
Police
to.
officer, don't move! Get back, Doug! Get back, Doug! You still got a gun! Still got a gun!
In fact, 20% of the time, one round will not stop the action at all. In this situation, 2 officers fired 33 times into this offender before he dropped. However, notice the number of shots which penetrated non-vital areas. When you shoot, aim for center mass. Usually bullets to the chest cavity are the most devastating because they penetrate vital organs and shatter bone. Often drugs, adrenaline flow, or sheer attitude will keep a suspect from knowing he's badly hit. The animal instinct to stay alive is very powerful. However, this officer was shot just once in the arm. His psychological reaction told him his only response was to die. How strong is your will to survive? It should be as strong as the suspect's. Just because you've been shot doesn't mean you're going to die, or can't use your weak hand to continue defending yourself. After a shooting, you're going to be hyper. Your pulse and breathing will be rapid. Your pupils will constrict because of increased adrenaline to your system. And your first impulse will be to rush up, disarm, and handcuff him. Before you leave cover, give yourself a 10 count and assess your situation. Officers who've been in your position survived because they didn't let their guard down, like these officers did. Or this officer who assumed the suspect had left because he stopped hearing shots. His attention was so distracted by seeing a dead officer in the gutter, he never unholstered his revolver. This detective was so occupied by the threats of a mental patient, he forgot all about natural cover and his gun. This officer didn't notice his partner shooting in his line of fire. It's during periods when you get tunnel vision that officers usually take the fatal round in a shooting. The truth is, every suspect you encounter will be different. Your actions right now will determine who'll survive, and you can bet survival is foremost in their minds too. So before you make your move, remember that your survival may ultimately depend on preparation, not paranoia.